Hey guys, it's Zach from moveSKILL.com. So in this video, we're going to talk about the bottom of dip support using the rings. We've talked a little bit about this in our dip instructional video, but today we're going to talk about it with the rings. Specifically, we're going to talk about the inherent instability that the rings provide. Now in our last video that we posted, we talked about the top of dip support and learning how to stabilize in the rings. While some of that is also in play here at the bottom position, it's actually a little bit different. We're going to have two main goals when we work on this position on the rings. The first one is range of motion. We need to be able to get ourselves all the way to the bottom of the dip. This is going to help in terms of full range of motion on just regular dips on the rings or on the parallel handles, but it's also important to start thinking about if your goal is a muscle up. The reason is, as I pull myself in to a muscle up, I need to be able to transition in as low of a position as I possibly can. If I don't have the range of motion, if the bottom of my dip is really high, then I'm not going to be able to smoothly pull myself from the bottom of the rings into the top. So how are we going to do that? First thing we're going to do is just step between the rings with your feet flat on the ground. Keep the rings in nice and tight, and I'm going to lower myself as far as I can until I start to feel a stretch. Now while I'm here, I'm pulling my shoulders back and squeezing my arms in tight. Notice how I haven't lifted my feet up off the ground yet. For most folks, this is simply a range of motion, a stretch. You're going to feel a lot of pull in the front of your pec and the front of the shoulder. Like I said, don't lift your feet off right away. You want to start to pull some weight off slowly, and ultimately you're trying to get the front of your shoulder to touch the front of the ring. Very bottom position. Now, once you can do this comfortably and you start to deload, then you can start thinking about pulling your feet up off the ground. All right? Very bottom, and not all at once, but slowly start to lift the feet. Notice how my overall position did not change when I unloaded the feet. I didn't come back up, I didn't shift forward or back. This is really important. If you do this too early, what will happen is you'll start to press out. And the reason is your shoulders still aren't ready for you to be completely loaded in that position. All right, once you have that, then my recommendation is just start accumulating time, 30 to 60 seconds in that bottom position. Once that's easy, then we can start to add a little bit of swing, just like you would in terms of being on the rings doing dips or doing something like a muscle up. There's going to be some momentum. So I'll take a step back, not too far, find my dip position, and lift my feet. And you'll notice how when I did that, I did not lose any position in my shoulders. I didn't swing around, I didn't elevate. Ultimately, this is what we're working on. Really solid position in the bottom of a dip. So when you're pulling into a muscle up and you transition over, there's no doubt in your mind that you're solid in that position. As you're working on this, you should also be working on dips on either the parallel handles or on the rings, and every time you go down, I want you to fight for that new position. Remember, new range of motion is weak range of motion, so you need to be a little bit cautious in the beginning, but in the end, this is going to be a really great way to make your shoulders more bulletproof and more prepared for things like muscle ups or ring dips. I hope this helps you guys. Have a good one.